I'm ready.
Okay.
Good afternoon. This is the Delaware County Interactive Gaming Revenue Authority meeting December 16th, 2021 at 2 p.m. At this time, I'll call the meeting to order, and please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'm going to ask our Secretary, Ron Evans, to do a roll call.
Okay, well, I see Stefan, me, Frank, and Paul, and Francis is excused.
Yeah, thank you. You all should have received the agenda. Are there any questions about the agenda?
No.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
At this time, do we have any public comment concerning the agenda? I'm checking with our technologist. Any public comment concerning the agenda? Okay. All right, all of you should have received the minutes of the November 2021 DSIGRA meeting. Are there any questions, additions, or corrections?
None.
All those in favor of the minutes of the November 2021 DSIGRA meeting? Wait, I have to make a motion. Make a motion to accept the minutes of the November 2021 DSIGRA meeting. Do I have a second?
I'll second this time.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. All right, at this time, we will have a special presentation from Delaware County Community College. We have with us today Rachel Patton, Vice President of Institutional Advancement, and Simi Myers, Chief Diversity Inclusion Officer. The floor is yours. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. Well, good afternoon. I'm Rachel Patton, Vice President of Institutional Advancement at Delaware County Community College, and I'm also the Executive Director of the Delaware County Community College Educational Foundation, which is a separate 501c3 specifically created to secure funds for the college. I'm joined today again by Simi Myers, the college's Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer, and she's going to provide specific information about the exciting program that we're looking to explore with you today. I'm going to start with a very short overview about community colleges in general, and then share some specifics about Delaware County Community College. I have distributed a fact sheet about us so that you can sort of see at a glance what we do. No single institution in the United States is better equipped to help communities overcome challenges and create opportunities than our nation's community colleges. There are nearly 1,200 community colleges across the United States, and nationally, 40% of all college students are enrolled at a community college. Locally, Delaware County Community College serves Delaware and Chester counties, and next year marks the 55th anniversary of service to our region. As an open access educational provider, we take our community members where they are and provide them with the education, training, and support they need to meet their educational and career goals. We partner with local business and industry who ensure that our curriculum continually evolves to meet their workforce needs, and we are a strong economic engine for our region. Our last economic impact study, done in 2018, determined that we add $1.2 billion to the economy. We have the knowledge, experience, connections, and infrastructure to empower individuals, elevate families, train community groups, and support our workforce. Our mission strengthens the very fiber of the communities we serve. Because the college's mission is so broad, and because you did not have very specific guidelines at this point in terms of what your funding focus might be next year, we are bringing an idea that we think has immense interest from a large segment of our region. And so to discuss that with you is my friend Simi Myers. Thank Thank you.
All right, thank you, Rachel. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So reflecting back to 2020, which I know a lot of times we don't want to do, but if we're taking a look back, we could see that our country began grappling in new ways with issues of inequality. And these were things that may have always been there, but we started looking at things in new ways, partially because of the pandemic, and in other ways, the pandemic itself was a new challenge for inequality. Additionally, we watched moments of social unrest, hate targeted toward specific groups, and fierce political disagreements at a time when more of us were collectively watching. And so what we found came from this was a missing resource that people in our community and our college wanted to talk about these things with friends, with family, with colleagues. But for many, they didn't know how to begin this conversation, or maybe they didn't have really even the words to describe their thoughts or feelings in a way that felt constructive or authentic. So it was in July of 2020 that we created the Delaware County Community College Center for Equity and Social Justice to serve as an evolving resource to meet community needs around education related to diversity, equity, and inclusion. While the center is ever expanding, our current signature program, which we're asking for your support for today, is our Dialogues for Diversity series. This brings together both local and national speakers to delve into constructive conversations about things that often divide us, while allowing participants to interact and ask questions as well. To start, these sessions have primarily been on Zoom, so people are able to connect safely with us and also for a more flexible format. But we're hoping to expand to a more robust hybrid model in the future, where hopefully people are able to come and talk in person and connect with community members as well as the college. To date, almost 700 viewers have tuned in to our sessions about topics such as policing, race relations, bipartisanship, health equity, and equity in education, which is the flyer that we've given out today. That's just an example of what our last program about both the speaker and an overview of the topic. So looking forward into 2022, this year our theme is building healthier communities. We're looking forward to having sessions dedicated to mental health equity and equity within the criminal justice system. The first, which is planned for early February, and the second for late March. And so we're excited to get materials out with that as soon as we have all our speakers confirmed and all that good stuff. So the college has made a commitment to fund this program. We realize this is something that we need in our community. However, the Educational Foundation has made securing additional funding for this a priority to help extend our outreach and marketing opportunities, to bring in more well-known speakers to help grow our audience, because often when people see a name that's familiar, they're more likely to connect with us. And finally, to fund additional resources that might make the program better, such as technological changes that provide a more interactive experience for our audience. So we're always trying to improve. Supporting this project supports an ongoing effort to enhance education within our community and empower participants to take steps towards a more just and collaborative future. So if you do choose to back this program, the college can offer robust opportunities to showcase your investment. We will list the DCI GRA and its logo on all publicly related, or all publicity related to the series. And so again, if you take a look at the flyer for the previous discussion, you can see that our sponsors are listed at the bottom. And this also includes our net presenters, which feature information that rotates 24/7 on more than 2,400 screens across our 7 locations in Delaware and Chester counties. We have a large media presence in our region and can guarantee that the DCI GRA will be noticed if that is your intent. So thank you so much for your time today, and we're happy to answer any questions.
You said it. Blank for that moment.
No problem.
How many of these lectures have we had and what?
Yeah, so, and I can give you the topics as well. So thus far, we have had 6 to date, and these have been on policing in our communities, race relations, bipartisanship, health equity, and equity in education. And thus far across the sessions, we have had almost 700 viewers. It's a little less than 700, but we're getting pretty close.
So the primary goal of the Center for Equity and Social Justice is to create dialogue regarding race relations and civil rights.
Yeah, so it's really to create a convening space to continuously educate the community on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Right now, Dialogues for Diversity was our initial program. We saw the need for people to want to talk about these issues, and we knew this was something that ongoing the college could support at a baseline. But an example of something else we're doing in the future is we're currently in the process of creating a non-credit certificate for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And this is going to be targeted towards local businesses, community organizations like churches and other nonprofits, and also for our local school districts. So that is kind of how the center is expanding. So Dialogues is our first project, and now we're moving on to others. But the goal of the center is wide education for the community in a way that's accessible for diversity, equity, and inclusion.
What are you considering?
So our community is Delaware and Chester counties, but of course it's open to all. So we do see people in, say, Philadelphia, Montgomery County, Bucks County, definitely in our network who will join in as well, but primarily serving Delaware and Chester counties, and of course our college community as well.
I'm sorry.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So, looking at the Dialogues for Diversity, how many do you have either planned for the calendar year 2022 or your academic year?
So we do them every other month, typically. There's sometimes when, depending on where it falls, it's not ideal. And so in a calendar year, we would plan to do 5 or 6. Okay. 6 would be the goal, but of course, looking at things that are happening when different things fall, 5 to 6 a year.
Okay. And also, is there a plan to possibly make attendance at these, I don't know if I want to use the word credited, we'll use that, towards the non-credit certificate that you're planning in diversity?
That's a really great question. So because it's going to be an ongoing certificate, I mean, there's obviously going to be some cohorts that say overlap with the dialogue series, while others, any cohort would overlap, but I would say that from cohort to cohort, depending when it starts, it could be like one cohort might get 2 while another cohort just gets 1, and that's a slightly different experience. What I'm imagining at this point is that for those who are involved in the cohort at any given time, if you do go to that dialogue, that you can also have a follow-up discussion about that, whatever the topic was, right? So that right now we're not at scale able to provide additional conversation for audience members who just want more, like beyond that hour or hour and a half. But I want to be able to incorporate that into like an elective for those who are a part of our cohort.
And do you, what's the timeline for that curriculum coming on board as far as the diversity certificate?
So that should be, we're looking to start the first cohort in mid to late February. And so to give a little bit,
next year?
yes.
Oh,
so to give a little,
by the Board of Trustees and
yes,
college? Okay.
yes. So we're pretty much at the halfway mark right now. To give a little background on that, we were able to do this after we were given a grant from the Foundation for Delaware County. So we were able to have a consultant come in, help us create it, thinking about the different marketing materials that we'll have to produce. And also the first initial cohort is going to be completely free of charge. And we're putting that into the grant because we want to be able to bring in an initial group. Again, we want to spread the word without kind of that initial cost. And we plan on going that this is not kind of a large cost. We want as many people to participate as possible.
And are any of the guest speakers, are they locally based? the guest speakers that are part of this Dialogues for Diversity?
Yeah, so let me actually, if I'm looking at the list, that actually helps. So for example, in our policing dialogue, we had a police chief from Yaden. Jack Stolzheimer actually was in our first conversation. We had an attorney who was a alumni of Delaware County Community College. We also did have a local church pastor, as well as a, I forget the level of the officer, but a current police officer. In our race relations discussion, kind of as a counter to that, it was not counter to the discussion, but looking at the panel versus, we had a single person, Austin Channing Brown, who is a best-selling author. And so she, of course, was not local, but she was kind of one of our big draw people because she was pretty well known. So sometimes we try to curate a more local panel, and then sometimes we will have people who are more nationally known. So it depends on the topic, but we try to do a little bit of both. So in the one coming up on health equity, we're looking for a county representative, as well as we have a local person from Philadelphia, and then the third panelist is going to be from Maryland. So we try to diversify the panel.
Any other questions?
So this series isn't targeted to the students in particular. There's no credit. They don't get any credit for attending
No.
these sessions.
So not unless a professor decides to do something with. So sometimes our instructors will say, hey, if you attend this, you can respond to it, and that can be extra credit. Right now, there is no structured way that we're kind of requiring students to attend or having students get something for attendance. Not at this point. Our big push initially was for the Center for Equity and Social Justice to be externally focused, first and foremost. And while we, of course, promote within our college, the external focus was our first goal. And so if you break down the numbers, we have roughly about 60% participating externally, 40% participating internally, which is roughly what we would like to see. But of course, ideally, we would just see those same numbers, but just with a lot more people.
Speaking of numbers, what would be your target or idea or projection as to number of viewers on average over a course of however long you project?
Probably about 100 viewers on average.
Okay.
Yeah.
And looks like you're hitting your mark.
Yes. I mean, obviously, it would be it'd be wonderful if we had 300, but I think we'll just continuously work on our presence, our marketing, and also I think as we develop things like the certificate, when you see like, this is a center that has multiple things going on, we're hoping that it brings more people in. When one business has 3 people participating in our certificate, we're also hoping that it draws more people to then come to the dialogue. So we really want all of these things to speak with each other.
My final question is this part of a marketing program for the university just to get exposure out in the community? No?
No. And so the purpose of Dialogues for Diversity is not to recruit people. So we're very purposeful in our marketing that, and kind of within the discussion, that we don't talk specifically about like, oh, you can get this at the college, right? So that is never our intention. I think naturally, because we're an educational institution, there are like some overlaps, but we're very intentional that is not the purpose of this project.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I just have one more question.
Yeah.
Do you have a mechanism to combine the outreach to Delaware County residents, businesses, or community organizations? Like if we were to provide you with funding, would you be able to use those dollars in that type of format.
For marketing and outreach?
Yes, and solely in Delaware County, because we have a mandate.
We definitely could aim to, like, of course, if we're, say, putting money in, say, a social media campaign, obviously that can go, to anyone, but we absolutely could kind of target specific businesses, and specifically maybe businesses that we also hope would be partners in having people come to our certificate program as well. So we would happily promote to the community. If it was specifically Delaware County, it might be something like a mailer. But if it was something like a social media campaign, we would probably target different organizations in Delaware County, and then naturally it might be shared elsewhere.
All right, thank you. Thank you for coming today and
Yeah.
discussing this innovative program with us. It's something that's near and dear, I think, to all of our hearts. We're actually going to be discussing integrating DI into our mission a little bit later.
Wonderful.
In fact, it's on your agenda. So
Oh,
thank you for coming.
yeah.
We plan to have a discussion about the focus of our funding for next year, and
Okay.
we'll respond back to you shortly.
Okay, thank
And you're
you.
invited to stay.
Well, we appreciate it. And also, please come to future dialogues. And kind of regardless, would love to have you, would love to see you in the comments and question section. So thank you so much.
When's the next one scheduled?
So the next one, oh my gosh. It's
Don't give me that exact
February.
date.
I would have to look at my calendar. I'm almost certain that the date is February 9th.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll send you emails to the panel, the authority, and you can send us.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Sure, thank you. All right, next item of business is the treasurer's report. We'll turn it over to Stefan.
All right, treasurer report for December 2021 is short and sweet. 2 transactions. One was $1.22 of interest that was added to our account. 3 checks cleared totaling $10,600, and our quarterly deposit of $59,979.42. We have an ending balance of $150,094.53, ready to be distributed as grants from DeSigra. So we've got to get to work and get this money out the door.
Oh, and you said that's our balance as of December 9th as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions for Stefan? Concerning the treasurer's report. I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report for December 2021. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. I'll turn it over to our solicitor, Frank Bill.
Just 2 quick things. Number 1, next month is our, annual reorganization meeting. So that should be on the agenda. Actually, the first thing on the agenda. And secondly, I did receive a bill from the Delaware County Daily Times for the ad that we placed regarding the emergency services grant, and I gave a copy of the bill to our treasurer for payment. And that's all I have.
Any questions for the solicitor? Let's move on to old business. The first item on the agenda under old business is emergency services grant update. And I'm kind of liaison for that, so I will cover that. The emergency services grant application was available November 15th. It was advertised in the newspaper. As far as what's the term, notice? What's the official terminology? Just announcement?
Public notice.
Public notice, okay.
Yeah.
And also our colleague from the foundation also distributed the foundation's e-newsletter. We did get requests for applications, and I also used other contacts to help distribute the contacts throughout the county. As of today, we have 13 applicants from all over the county. Fire departments, police departments, and even an EMS ambulance service. Some of them read the application and abided by the $2,500 limit. Some of them, I guess, did not read the application and some of them requested over $2,500. So we'll have to review these thoroughly. After December 31st, I will submit all of these to you in a spreadsheet. I kind of have them in a spreadsheet now, and we'll review them. And at our next meeting in January, hopefully we'll approve many of them. And then
January
after
20th.
that meeting in January, I will go to county council for final approval. But it's great news that we have such a robust response in a short period of time. So thank you to everybody.
Did you say how many you received?
13.
13, okay.
So I used a contact through the county and emergency services that helped distribute it out to emergency services organizations, and also gave me a list of emergency services organizations, which I made them aware of the application. I also got a contact from the Fire Chiefs Association, and I also believe the Fire Police Organization, and lastly, the Assistant DA Tanner Ralph distributed to the police departments throughout the county, at least the information. Okay, so we had a good outreach to make sure that all of the emergency services organizations were aware of this grant reimbursement. The next item, if Stefan wants to give an update on Course Vector Web Services, if you want to provide any information.
Sure. Course Vector and I are in communication. I've submitted to them much of the material that we're looking to put up on the website. For instance, they know our name, our mission statement, our minutes, our agendas, our bios, headshots. I just went through my computer and found some relevant photos that could help make the site look nice. In return, what we got from them was 3 sample layouts for websites. I emailed that to all of you guys to pick one of the 3. I was kind of partial to 3. I think, did you respond, Ron?
Yeah,
Did you?
I'm okay with 3.
You're okay with 3? I think everybody was okay with 3. 2 got 1 vote. The second choice, got 1 vote. The first choice, no one liked. So I did not respond back to them. I thought I'd wait until this meeting just to confirm that we'll move forward with design number 3. And what they'll do with that is give us more of a working site that we can play with. They did slap me on the hand a little bit because they have a portal for sending data. And every time I ran across something, like I'd assembled the minutes, sent it through the portal. The agenda, sent it through the portal. The headshots, bios, sent it through the portal on separate occasions. They politely let me know that cost more than trying to assemble everything at one time and sending it through the portal at once. So from now on, I've got to be conscious of just consolidating information. But what they have is basically what we have, at this point. So there's not much more other than, new minutes and new agendas as they come forward. There was some question on that design number 3 at the bottom. There was a placekeeper for video. So we had talked about, in a joking kind of way, just having some type of introduction type video that people can click, because we know sometimes people prefer to look at video than to read. So it could be a quick video of maybe our chairman giving the mission statement, identifying what we are, who we are, how to get in contact with us. Of course, they've contacted us through the website. So I was quite pleased with the fast turnaround with the options that they gave us. I want to thank our solicitor, Frank, for identifying that company for us because we're off to a good start. So I guess among us, no formal vote, but with just a nod, should we proceed with option number 3? Then I'll shoot them a note and we'll get it started. They said they can turn around sort of a working site right now. I would encourage you guys to maybe go back and look at it again, because if there's anything you want to see tweaked right now, we can pass that up to them. But it would probably work best if they shoot us back like a sample site with that look and feel of number 3. And we'll have a better idea what we want it to look like. That's it for course vector.
Now, I know they'll probably want to test it after they get all the information, get the layout down. But did they give any indication when it might be available to make it public
No.
essentially?
No. So what's next is a site for like a usability, like you said, just to test it to see how it works on their server. But I think once we give the okay, it's just a matter of flipping the switch, because we have everything else in place. We have the URLs, we have the working email addresses. It's just a flip of a switch to go from their server moved over to the active server and to make it public. But to your point, do we have a target? I think we said February at the latest. We'd like to see this up.
I think we were looking at January.
Yeah, I think that's very doable. Okay. Yeah, so we do want to have something up for the new year. Oh, and her presentation, the young ladies from
Yeah.
Delaware County Community College did kind of poke me to say maybe we do need a logo. Because as she mentioned, if we do fund them, they'd put our logo, on their promotional material. As much as I don't feel as though we need a logo to promote ourselves, for opportunities like that is a reason why we may want to have a logo. And part of Course Vector's offering was to dummy up a logo for us. So I think we should take
That's
advantage of
included
that.
in the package.
Yes.
Hang on.
I mean, I've told them no up to this point.
You have to have a vote where people proceed comes from
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can request it as part of the contract.
Okay.
And then we can vote on it at another time.
Yeah. Doesn't have to be anything elaborate, but
Right.
definitely for purposes like this, if we're going to get our name out there and people, want to blast us, it does make sense, just like the bottom of that flyer, to have a logo. Even if it's a stylized version of DeSigra. Yeah, doesn't have to be anything crazy.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
All right, the next item is Planning Department Identified Projects Discussion. I make a motion to table that. It's not a motion, so I have to make a motion to postpone that discussion.
I think you should to
I'll make a
table
motion
the
to
discussion
postpone.
because it's on the agenda.
It's on the agenda, okay. I'll make a motion to postpone that discussion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Just trying to picture, the idea is
I
what's,
should have asked this. I should have asked the question.
we're trying to decide what we want to do for the future, what's our focus?
Yeah, so in November, the planning department came with some projects, but they weren't specifically defined, so we don't have all that information. And I thought we would have it in advance of this meeting to at least discuss them, but we don't have the information, so I'm asking that we talk about that at a future date when we have one.
Right.
All those in favor of table?
Aye.
The next item is focus need or needs open grant discussion. Any questions on that before I make a motion to postpone that discussion?
I think that's what I thought the prior one was before you explained it. It's,
Yeah.
we'll discuss what we want to focus on in the future.
Right, so the planning, the motion on the planning department postponement was specifically about those planning projects that they came to discuss.
Right.
The second motion is, we usually have a theme, like last year we had a theme on our grants on youth and family.
Yeah.
And we wanted to kind of have a theme or a focus for the grants for 2022. And I'd like Francis to be here. We may possibly have a new authority member here by January, so I'd like to postpone that discussion. And we just got a presentation about another possible project. So I make a motion to postpone that discussion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor of postponing?
Aye.
The next item on the agenda is a proposed budget discussion. Francis did come up with a proposed budget. I thank everybody for taking responsibility when I asked you to do different projects. Everybody on our authority has been involved beyond what they do just here. So I want to thank everyone for being able to divide that work out. I'll just go through some preliminary stuff, and this is just a idea or thought. We're not hard and fast with this budget. We're not stuck to this budget. It's just a proposal, so it's just an idea. So as of as of November 18th, 2021, we had $150,000 and $93, and we actually have about $1 more than that right now. She forecasts $55,000 for our quarterly payments in January, April, July, and October. That may change. It may be higher. It may be less. So she's anticipating $220,000 in revenue for the calendar year of 2022, which would give us, with our existing balance and the revenues that would occur in in year 2020, total revenues of approximately, $370,000.93. Some allocations are the first round of the emergency services grants, which we've already approved and allocated the $50,000. We have a proposed allocation of about $100,000 for our open community grants, like the things that we gave to the nonprofits last year. She has allocated or proposed $50,000 to planning grants, which comes from the planning department that we just discussed. $50,000 in special grants. We've had other stakeholders come throughout the year and just now that we could potentially allocate $50,000 to any of those projects. And then possibly, if the first round of emergency services grants is exhausted within the calendar year, an allocation of $50,000 for a second round of emergency services grants of $50,000. So that would be $300,000 with a surplus of $70,093 remaining in revenue. As far as operating expenses, I'm not going to go through them all. A total of $33,272 in operating expenses. I'll just go over some of the larger ones. We did reach out to the solicitor about estimated solicitor fees, and we anticipated $14,000 annually in solicitor fees. The audit is about $8,600, and the accounting software is $7,632. The website development and maintenance is $2,700, but in subsequent years, that'll be less because we're actually developing a website now, and in the future, hopefully, we'll just be maintaining it. So the surplus for the year would be about $36,821. So that's just a proposed budget. Any comments or questions on that? We're not voting on that today.
No, I like that. I think that, yeah, it does.
Yeah, I thought it was reasonable, give us some flexibility as far as the different entities we're coming. Do you have a comment?
Well, all I said was sure, but my prediction, and I'm not a betting man, so I won't bet, but my prediction is that our revenues are going to increase substantially in the next quarter because of the pro football betting and college football betting that has really just come online. And so we'll see. We started out at 27, we're now up to 59. I'm going to guess we're going to get to 75.
Oh,
It's a guess.
well, that would be great news. Thank you for keeping us abreast of those trends. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, that other big bump can come from the law that these guys are pushing for with the poker gaming. If you recall, the way it works now is the players all have to be within Pennsylvania. That's where you get our cut from. I forget the technical term, but they're pushing Harrisburg to allow players from outside the state, which is a huge, would bring a huge amount of money into the state, first of all, and secondly to us, because that's what we're getting a cut of. So we don't know when that's happening. It's certainly in Harrisburg. Everyone's who's in that gambling world is lobbying for that. It's nothing we have to do. We don't have to go to Harrisburg to lobby for it, but we'll feel the windfall, if it does go through. So that's exciting to think that. I mean, the prediction is it's just a huge difference. Imagine, 4 players in Pennsylvania versus, twice as many players from across the country, who could get in on this. The estimate of revenue really makes me feel as though this will pass. It's just a matter of when, because the revenue to the state is substantially different just by changing that one little law for that one game.
And also, seen some news articles about the games of skill, I think they're called. I don't know if they're games of chance, but I think they're more games of skill that are popping up in gas stations and convenience stores across the county and across the state, and they don't have any regulation.
Oh, boy.
So there are discussions in Harrisburg about possibly regulating those as well, and there may be possibly some of that revenue coming back to these gaming authorities as well. So next time you go to your local 7-Eleven or Exxon, and you might see a stack of games there that were put there, but because we don't have any existing laws, they're able to put them there, reap the benefits, and not contribute back to the community. So maybe that'll be regulated as well. All right, thank you everyone for old business. Moving on to new business. You should have all received proposed 2022 meeting calendar dates with meetings to occur at 2 p.m., mostly on the third Thursday of each month next year. And any questions? We have a motion to approve and authorize the solicitor to advertise these 2022 meeting calendar meetings. Any questions on these dates? And they've all been vetted to make sure that they don't coincide with any religious or cultural holidays.
I mean, the first one's my birthday, but
That should be a
National
holiday.
holiday, right?
yeah, that should be a national holiday.
We'll bring a cake for you that day.
I do see St. Patrick's Day on there, but we'll make a sacrifice.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't think that called for changing of our meeting.
One moment, please. Okay. No, other than the national holiday, otherwise known as my birthday.
Motion to approve and authorize solicitor to advertise 2022 meeting calendar with the respective dates. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'm pleased to report the County of Delaware is going to put the ad in the paper for us and not charge us.
Yay.
Really?
Thank you.
Nice.
Every dollar we save is another dollar that we can provide.
Adjust that proposed budget.
So
No,
that-
I noticed that the budget was missing those advertisements, so maybe that's why.
some of that falls under the solicitor fees because
I see.
I assume we reimburse you.
When I pay it, yes. In this particular one, I gave it directly to Stefan.
Well, would you want us to do those as they occur or include it with your quarterly invoice?
Well, they have to be paid as they occur because the newspaper wants to be paid. So I don't think we have that luxury.
Oh, it's an invoice directly from the paper.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you were paying it and then we were reimbursing.
That can happen, but I would prefer that I just give it to our treasurer to pay
Okay.
it.
That way it's direct.
Yes.
And
Thank
it's
you.
not confused with his time. It's
Right.
his sort of fee.
Okay.
And plus, you won't know what the cost is until the newspaper determines, because I'm sure it's paid for by column inch, and
Yeah. Thank you.
some will cost more than others.
All right, the next item is a motion for consent agenda to approve meeting agenda, meeting minutes, and treasurer report starting January 2022. I make a motion to postpone this discussion.
Second?
All those in favor? Thank you. So the next item is discussion and revision of proposed DEI segment of the DeSigra mission statement. The current mission statement reads, "The mission of the DeSigra is to improve the quality of life in Delaware County. We seek to accomplish our mission by investing in economic and community development, emergency services, and nonprofit organizations with an emphasis on under-resourced communities." The proposed is to add to the mission statement, DeSigra is committed to the values of diversity, equity, inclusion, and creating a sense of belonging in all aspects of our operations. They are central to the mission in serving an increasingly diverse county that includes underrepresented groups. We, and I have in parentheses because we need to determine this word or another word, we either celebrate or recognize varied perspectives, experiences, and backgrounds that creates, I'm going to make an addition, that creates,
Which create, that they create.
they create.
Well, it should be create, not creates. You listed a number of things.
Oh, okay, it's plural, okay. Backgrounds create a vibrant, innovative, growing community. So this discussion is open for this addition to the mission statement. And I guess the key thing is, do we want to put, we celebrate varied perspectives, experiences, and backgrounds? It should be that create a vibrant, right?
Right, so we recognize various perspectives, experiences, and backgrounds which create a vibrant,
Which create,
innovative, and growing community. Yeah, I
Okay.
think
which is good, I
you
like
just need to
which.
pick a word there between celebrate and recognize, and then to add a which, and then create.
Yeah.
Rather than creates.
Is editing permissible? Mr. Dale?
I'm sorry?
The minor edits that we're making are permissible?
Well, I thought between background and first off, making creates singular or not mobile, and backgrounds which create a vibrant. I didn't understand when somebody said put which between celebrate or recognize.
No, he was saying put which between backgrounds and celebrates.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
All right. I'm fine with recognize. We recognize varied perspectives, experiences, and backgrounds, which creates a vibrant, innovative, growing community.
I don't think we settled on whether it should be an S at the end of create or not. What's,
Another Eagle Scout.
Well,
I was an accounting major, don't ask me.
Say that again?
I said I was an accounting major too,
Oh,
not an
I'm
English
saying
major.
about the which, adding the which or that.
I think I'm fine with.
I mean, you could get rid of both and say backgrounds creating a vibrant.
Oh, creating, okay.
There you go.
We recognize varied perspectives, experiences, and backgrounds. Don't we want to say they create a vibrant community? We recognize
I
that
think we need
they,
something, I think we need something between backgrounds and create. We recognize varied perspectives, experiences, and backgrounds.
they create.
They create,
I mean, I'm not saying it's they, I like the list there,
oh,
but I'm just saying the varied perspectives, experiences, backgrounds create. We recognize that they create a vibrant community. vibrant, innovative.
I think you make it a run-on sentence if you, we recognize varied perspectives, experiences, and backgrounds.
Maybe.
They create, I hear what you're saying, they create.
Wouldn't that
Oh,
be like
we could, just
a
say,
colon?
just leave it there. We could do that.
we could do it?
We recognize varied perspectives, experiences, and backgrounds they create, period.
No, that's not what I'm saying. We recognize that varied perspectives, experiences, and backgrounds create a vibrant, innovative, and growing community.
Oh, okay.
So we need
We
the and.
recognize, you said we recognize the varied perspectives, experience, and backgrounds.
That varied perspectives.
Wait, say that again, I'm sorry.
We recognize that varied perspectives, experiences, and backgrounds create a vibrant, innovative, and growing community.
Okay,
Isn't
I
that
get
what
it.
you want to say?
I got that, yep. I'll read that again. We recognize that varied perspectives, experiences, and backgrounds create a vibrant, innovative, and growing community.
So do you have the and on your,
I don't have an ad, I'm adding an ad.
okay,
Before growing.
yes.
So do you want me to read the addition again?
Yes.
Okay. So the addition, the discussion of the addition to the SIGRA mission statement would be, the SIGRA is committed to the values of diversity, equity, inclusion, and creating a sense of belonging in all aspects of our operations. They are essential to our mission in serving an increasingly diverse county that includes underrepresented groups. We recognize that varied perspectives, experiences, and backgrounds create a vibrant, innovative, and growing community. Period.
That's music to my ear.
So originally, I thought this addition was about us, that we want to be inclusive, like we get a new board member, we want to be inclusive in our operation. But I think it's not just that, I think we intend that it's kind of not just our operations, but our mission, and making grants and so forth, that's kind of something we have in mind. Do you agree with that?
I think I understand what you're saying. This is about us as well as, this is more about us as far as our operations. So we want to make sure that we are diverse in everything that we do. Well, we look at diversity, equity, inclusion in everything that we do. We don't select our board, that's done by county council. But when we're looking at grants, when we're looking at vendors, when we're speaking to the public, that we embrace this value, that's part of our mission. And the reason I wanted to do this is because we have temporary terms on this authority, and one day we'll be gone. So if we have this in our mission, it's embedded, and the only way that can be removed or changed is that they would have to do a vote, public vote, that would go on record if those values are not embraced by a future authority. So we're essentially putting it into our bylaws, and hopefully it will be an enduring quality of this authority even after we're long gone. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, what I'll do, once the minutes are released, I will take that text and send it to Course Vector to add to the website's mission
Well,
statement.
we have to vote on it.
Oh, we still have to vote on it.
It has to be approved in January.
I see.
So we're voting to change the bylaws.
I got you.
To add the mission,
the language.
including this to the bylaws.
Okay.
And that needs to have a notification next
Okay.
time.
Any further discussion on
But
this?
you might as well give them a heads up.
Any further discussion on this revised and proposed DEI segment of the SIGRA mission statement?
None.
I make a motion for the secretary to provide I make a motion for the secretary to provide written notice with a minimum of 15 days notice. I think I'm repeating words, preceding the January 22, the SIGA meeting of new bylaw 9.01 of existing mission statement with revised DEI segment under new Article 9 mission statement. Vote on new bylaw to occur at the January 2022 meeting. This motion is open for discussion. No discussion? Do I have a second of this motion?
Got a second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Everything okay?
You got it right.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you, everyone. At this time, we will open the audience for public comment. Is there any public comment? There is no public comment. At this time, I will turn it over to the authority for individual comment if they'd like to say something as a result of this meeting. Step up, please.
I have nothing, thank you.
I just want to thank everyone this year. We had a very fantastic year. We got some money out the door. We got $75,000 out the door. And we have in the pipeline some more money to help our emergency services personnel, first responders, police officers, ambulances, fire police. And it's just great to be able to get money in and get it out into the community to help everybody across this whole county. We know that there are underserved communities, and we're taking that into account as well. And thank you for embracing my ideas and correcting me when I'm wrong. And I'm glad that we're moving forward with being a forward-thinking firm. I wish everybody in the past a happy Hanukkah, in the future, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year, and Season 3, regardless of what you believe.
Thank you. Same to you.
And motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Motion to adjourn. Meeting's adjourned.
Perfect.